The CFPB Small Business Lending final rule states that covered financial institutions are required to collect and report to the CFPB data on applications for credit for small businesses, including those that are owned by women or minorities. As it pertains to the data on women and minorities, what's the purpose of collecting that data?
The statute requires the collection for minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses. I believe the statute has a number of objectives, including things related to community development, fair lending, and more. But that was not something that the CFPB decided. We were under a court order to implement that.
As we're collecting this data, part of it is definitions are important. So, from the agency's perspective, what is a woman?
What the way in which the rule is specified is that a borrower, we have published even a sample form, they can self-identify as to there will be options for race, ethnicity. It's really up to them to review.
But you explained the process, but if data collection is important and it's a data point that's going to be used and verified, whether it's in statute or not in statute, what, from the agency's perspective, what is a woman and how do you define it?
Well, we don't get into those questions.
But you're explaining the process of someone checking boxes. Again, you're collecting data.
Well, they're actually reporting.
It would seem that data is not relevant to your core mission. All right,
I
I
don't
understand
agree.
fair lending is part of your core mission, but if you can't even define the definition of a woman, it's a data point that you can't use in any analysis that you might otherwise make, and so you should be coming back and saying we need relief from this in particular.
To be honest, that data is important for fair lending, and we try to put together and implement the statutory directives as faithfully as we could. I do think having knowledge on women-owned businesses who did have challenges.
So what women-owned businesses, it's an important data point, just as you just said. So what is a woman again, please?
I don't really know what you're suggesting here, but the idea is that people are able
The idea
to
is that-
self-identify what
I'll reclaim my
demographic
time. In
characteristics.
subcommittee, and when we were talking about the CFPB, it was one of those moments. I don't, and this is nothing personal against you, by the way. I realize that you were not the person who put this in place, so please don't take this personally. Is the core mission of your agency has previously been done by other agencies, and if there was an agency that should be disbanded, I'll quote Hamlet, to be or not to be, yours should die a painful death, because I do believe it's irrelevant. I do believe you've gone outside your core mission, and you have abused the authority that otherwise Congress should take back from you. And I would argue, in agreements with Mr. Donalds, that your agency, and not you, sir, but your agency is unconstitutional. With that, Madam Chairman, I'll
There
yield
was a
back.
financial crisis.
The gentleman's time's expired.